You ever have one of those days where you're halfway through your story about La Vaca Loca and you realize you've been talking for 5 straight minutes to a group of students who look like they're watching a loading screen? Yeah, that's when it hits you. You're basically performing a one-person telenovela for zombies. Here's the bold claim. You can fix 70% of your attention and behavior problems with silence. Yep, you heard me. Not with more rewards, not with new seating charts, not even with a fancy new classroom management system. Just silence. Now I know what you're thinking. Scott, I've tried that. They don't even notice. No, friend, you didn't try silence. You just stopped talking and panicked. What I'm talking about is strategic silence. Jedi level pause mastery. The kind of wait time that makes students lean forward because their brains can't stand not knowing what comes next. By the end of this video, you'll walk away with 3 timing tricks that'll make you the calmest, most composed chaos manager on campus. And spoiler alert, they're also so easy. You can start tomorrow, and no one will even know you're secretly running a psychological experiment on your class. So let's start with why this works. The human brain, yes, even the teenage one, powered mostly by Takis and Monster energy drinks, is not built for constant input. When we talk nonstop, especially in the target language, we overload their cognitive capacity faster than you can say, ¿Comprendes esto? Here's the thing. Attention is like a muscle. You can't expect it to hold a plank for 45 minutes. You've got to let it rest, breathe, and reset. That's what a pause does. Wait time isn't about being dramatic. It's about being strategic. Every second you pause, their brains are literally catching up, decoding language, and connecting meaning. You're giving them space to think, and you're giving yourself space to breathe. And bonus, silence freaks out kids who thrive on chaos. When you stop talking and calmly wait, the drama kings and queens suddenly realize they can't perform without an audience. It's the pedagogical version of unplugging their mic. Let's get practical. The 5-second rule, not the food one. You ask a question, ¿Dónde está el perro? And then you immediately start answering it yourself because you can't handle the silence. Stop. Wait. 5 seconds. That's it. Count them in your head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At this point, half your students have realized you're waiting and someone blurts an answer. Congratulations. You've just used the most awkward teaching tool ever, and it worked. The waiting mirror. You ever make eye contact with a kid and immediately lose your teacher authority because you flinch? Yeah, same. Here's your fix. Adopt the waiting mirror. When a student zones out, instead of nagging, you make calm, steady eye contact and hold it. You're not angry. You're not disappointed. You're just silently saying, I can wait all day. It's like holding a yoga pose made entirely of judgment. And 3, the ready signal. Teach your students a nonverbal ready signal. Thumbs up under the desk, eyes on you, hands still, boom. You pause until you see it. It becomes Pavlovian. They crave your approval like they crave Wi-Fi. Silence plus expectation equals engagement. Now this one is sneaky powerful. When we talk about engagement, we always think we need more movement, more activities, more noise. But sometimes students aren't disengaged because they're bored. They're disengaged because they don't own the rhythm. You ever watch a teacher who adjusts too fast? Every instruction, every explanation, it's all coming at lightning speed. The students are just nodding along, pretending they understand, praying you don't call on them. So here are 3 strategies to get that silence in your room. The 3-second instruction gap. After giving instructions in the target language, count silently to 3. No repeats, no clarification, no does everyone get it. Just wait. That moment is where comprehension blooms. Their brains start translating and connecting. Next, the timer trick. This one's gold. Get a little sand timer like a 30-second one and use it during pair work. When it flips, you shut up. When it runs out, they know it's their turn. It turns your class into a cooperative improv session instead of a teacher monologue. And finally, the reflective pause joke. When a kid asks, "Is this on the test?" Pause, look at them, wait 3 seconds, and then say yes, on the test of life. They'll laugh, you'll smirk, and you'll have reminded everyone that learning Spanish isn't about grades. It's about paying attention to life itself, and also about surviving your class without embarrassing themselves. Okay, quick pause for a plug, because I can't resist. If you're listening to all this thinking, "Scott, this sounds great, but my lessons are dumpster fire and I barely survive Mondays," I've got you covered. The CI Survival Kit is basically your classroom life raft. It's filled with plug and play lessons, stories, games, and activities for Spanish, French, and German, all built around CI strategies that actually work. You don't need to plan. You don't need to stress. You just click, print, and teach. And when you combine those activities with the wait time tricks we're talking about today, you'll look like the calm, collected language teaching ninja your admin thinks you are in your evaluation notes. This one is my favorite because it's all about performance. Let's be honest, we're all basically actors. Every teacher is a performer trapped in a schedule full of freshmen who didn't choose to be your audience. So if you want them engaged, you've got to master your dramatic pause. The cliffhanger pause. Your mid-story. Y de repente, el gato. Pause. You look around. You lean in. Every student stares. And then you whisper, "No está." Boom. Instant attention. You could have said the cat is gone, but you said it like Netflix just dropped a new episode. Next, the pause prompt produce routine. After a story, pause. Let it hang. Then prompt with a simple question. ¿Qué pasó después? What happened afterwards? And let students fill in the gap. They get to produce meaning instead of just receiving it. The silence gives their brains time to create, not just copy. Third, the reflection pause. End your class with a 10-second silent reflection. Tell students, think of one thing you understood today. One word, one sentence. Then let them breathe. It's quiet, it's calm, and it gives them ownership of the learning moment. Trust me, this one practice alone makes your classroom feel more human. Let's be brutally honest. When you pause, it's not just about students processing. It's about you taking control of the pace. Classroom control isn't volume, it's rhythm. The louder you get, the less they hear. But the quieter you get, the more they lean in. You know those teachers down the hall who are basically yelling all day? By sixth period, their voices sound like gravel and regret. Then there's that one teacher who barely speaks above a whisper, and the whole class hangs on every word. You want to be that teacher. Silence doesn't mean weak, it means confident. You're not losing control, you're owning the tempo. Now, full disclosure, sometimes silence bombs. You pause, expecting deep reflection, and instead you get crickets. Or worse, a kid coughs dramatically just to fill the void. Here's what to do. Don't rush in. Wait them out. Eventually, someone will break first. Usually the overachiever who can't stand unproductive time. Or, if you're in a true standoff, lean in and whisper, "I'll wait." That line has main character energy. It says, "I'm not angry, just disappointed." Works every time. Here's where it gets fun for language teachers. You don't have to choose between talking less and giving input. You can do both. When you pause mid-input, students subconsciously process what they've heard. That space lets meaning sink in. And when you use silence between repetition, it feels intentional, like rhythm in music. Try this pattern: input, pause, gesture, pause, repeat. It's hypnotic. Students lock in because they sense the pattern. Pro tip: pair your pause with physical motion. Move to a new spot, make eye contact, or write on the board. The silence becomes visual emphasis. This might sound weird, but one of the best compliments I ever got came from a student who said, "Profe, you talk less than the other teachers, but we understand more." Boom. That's it. That's the whole point of CI. The less noise we make, the more language they absorb. Think of your pauses as invisible scaffolding. They're giving structure without adding chaos. And here's the kicker: you'll end up doing less work and they'll end up learning more. Honestly, that should be on a mug. I can hear it already. But Scott, you don't know my fourth period. They take a pause as an invitation to start a flash mob. Okay, fair. But here's the thing: chaos classes actually need pauses more than anyone, because chaos thrives on reaction. If you pause instead of reacting, you break their pattern. You interrupt their favorite sport, pushing buttons. Next time they test you, don't yell, don't plead, just pause. Let the silence speak. Watch how it unnerves them. They'll whisper, oh, she's doing that quiet thing again. Boom, you've won. By the way, if you're loving this idea of doing less but getting more, that's exactly why I built the CI Survival Kit. It's a monthly subscription with everything you need to run your CI classroom like a pro. Ready-made lessons and stories, teacher tips that work in real life, resources in Spanish, French, and German, and of course, it saves you hours every week. So if your Sunday nights are currently sponsored by Panic and Caffeine, head over to mm.us/kit and grab it. You'll thank yourself every Monday morning. Here's what's hilarious. Once you start doing this, your students will notice. They'll start whispering things like, "Why is Profe so calm today?" Or, "He's doing that weird pause thing again. Is he mad?" You'll just smile because you know what they don't. You're not mad. You're in control. One day a student will actually say, "Wait, you're not going to yell?" And you calmly respond, "No, I'm just waiting for you to realize I don't need to." Mic drop. Let's tie this all together. When we think classroom management, we think rules, procedures, or rewards. But the truth? Most of our problems aren't about behavior. They're about attention. Silence, pause, and wait time aren't just engagement tools. They're relationship tools. They communicate, "I respect you enough to let you think. I value your response. I'm not here to dominate. I'm here to connect." That's why this works. You're not just pausing to control noise. You're pausing to create space for meaning. So tomorrow, when you step into class, try this experiment. Talk 10% less. Pause 50% more. Then come back here and tell me what happened. Did students lean in? Did someone finally answer in Spanish, French, or German? Did you breathe a little easier? Drop your story in the comments. I read them all. And if you're ready to level up your classroom rhythm even more, check out my next video. Bell rings, instant control, my first 5-minute formula. Link in the description and the end screen. It'll show you exactly how to take those calm, controlled vibes from today and build them into a perfect start to every class. Remember, the most powerful thing in your teaching toolbox isn't your voice, it's your timing. Silence isn't empty, it's full of opportunity. Now go try it. Watch the magic happen. And as always, happy comprehensible input.